Welcome back to Maryland Today. My name is Jeff St. Pierre, and I'll be honest with you. When I hear the term reverse mortgages, I immediately go cross-eyed and my brain shuts off. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what they even mean, but it is a very important topic to talk about. Well, with me this morning is one of my favorite guests, Deanna Booker from the Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Maryland and Delaware. Don't smile when I say that because you make me laugh.
I love when you say that.
Well, today we're here to talk about reverse mortgages. So, Deanna, for listeners who may not be aware, like myself, can you please explain how this type of mortgage differs from a conventional mortgage?
Sure, because it certainly differs. A reverse mortgage allows you to borrow money against your home, not make any payments on the loan, and still live there. How about that?
That doesn't make any sense. How does that even work?
But that's what it is. And honestly, since the economy has taken a downturn, this type of home loan has really been getting more and more popular with seniors, with older adults. There was just a study done not very long ago, the National Reverse Mortgage Lenders Association. They put out a figure that said more than 5 times as many reverse mortgages were made last year than there have been for 10 years.
Wow.
So it's a phenomena, and it really is getting more and more popular.
And you just mentioned that seniors and older adults are taking advantage of this. So I'm guessing that age and other factors do play a role in if you qualify for a reverse mortgage. Why is that, and what's involved?
Well, that's absolutely right. In order to qualify for a reverse mortgage, you and your spouse, so they say the youngest borrower on the loan have to be at least 62 years of age, and you must have equity in your home. So that's two of the things, that are going to be used, two of the criteria that are going to be used in determining whether or not you can get a reverse mortgage. Generally, you can qualify for a reverse mortgage regardless of your current income level or your credit score. Okay. Now, that's a big difference from a traditional mortgage, but that is generally true in a reverse mortgage. Your credit score nor your income are going to play a huge role. Okay,
we're talking about reverse mortgages, but can you explain how they work?
Sure. A lender loans you money based on the value of your home, the amount of equity you have in your home, and your age at the time you apply for that loan. The money that you're going to receive can be paid to you in monthly installments. You can get it as a lump sum, or you can get it as a line of credit, whichever is determined to be best for you.
Now, when are you going to have to repay that money? Because obviously you're going to have to get back at some point, right?
Right. Well, it doesn't matter. Let me just kind of connect this back to the last question. It doesn't matter how the funds are paid out. So it doesn't matter if you get it monthly or in a lump or a line of credit. You generally don't have to repay them until you permanently move away, until you sell the house, or until you die.
Okay. So you may not have to repay them.
If you decide to sell the house, you are allowed to keep any proceeds from the sale in excess of what you owe to the lender. So that's definitely something that's important to point out. If there's anything over and above, you do get to keep those proceeds, but the lender is obviously going to be made whole.
Now, this sounds like it's going to be a good option for a lot of seniors who have equity in their homes, but who are cash poor, don't have a lot of stuff, right there in their pocket. Is that true?
Well, sometimes. Okay. Sometimes. Reverse mortgages are really complicated, honestly, and they don't fit every situation.
I believe that just by listening to you.
Yeah, they really are. They really are, and they don't fit every situation. Here's one thing about reverse mortgages. Even though they may be great and it may be a good tool, they do involve really high closing costs, and there's lots of finance and fees and that kind of thing. Under a reverse mortgage, you still retain the title to your home, but you're responsible for paying the property taxes, the homeowner's insurance, for making any necessary repairs that might come up. And when the loan comes due, you or your heirs have to repay the loan balance. So there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. Also, and this is something that a lot of folks aren't aware of, also a reverse mortgage can affect a senior citizen's ability to qualify for certain government benefits.
Oh.
So that's definitely something a senior has to check on, because you want to make sure that you're not doing anything to harm yourself, when it comes to the things you might be qualifying for from the government. So there's a whole bunch of stuff involved in reverse mortgages, a lot of things to consider. So that's why consumers are required to obtain HUD-approved housing counseling and get a certificate before they can apply for a reverse mortgage through the FHA's program.
So when it comes to reverse mortgages, the phrase "read the fine print" definitely comes into play.
Oh my gosh, absolutely yes.
And I understand that the Consumer Credit Counseling Services of Maryland and Delaware definitely has people that can help you read that fine print, counselors who've been certified to provide reverse mortgage counseling and education. How many people do you guys provide housing counseling to each year?
Oh, I think it's like 3,000
Wow.
people. Yeah, I think it's about 3,000 people every year. We provide reverse mortgage counseling through live workshops, through individual one-on-one counseling sessions. And here's something that I really want folks to know. Thanks to a recent federal funding initiative, we are currently offering our reverse mortgage counseling for free.
Oh, it's great.
This service usually runs this service usually runs $125 a session. But right now, and hopefully into the fall, so maybe through the end of September, we're going to be able to offer it for free. So I'm really excited about that.
So if you're listening right now and this sounds like something you might want to take advantage of, this would be something to jump on right now because it's free.
Exactly.
And is there a number they can call?
Absolutely. They can call our housing line. It's 1-866-731-8486.
Okay, fantastic. So I hope you got that. If not, we'll definitely hit that number again later on in this interview. But how does Consumer Credit Counseling Services of Maryland and Delaware, how does the reverse mortgage counseling program work?
Well, the first thing that's going to happen when a client comes to Consumer Credit Counseling for reverse mortgage, they're going to be given a checklist of a whole bunch of materials to gather and a packet of resources to kind of go over beforehand. So even before their session, they're going to be gathering that information. That way, when it's time for their session, when they come to their session, they already have some understanding of the process and kind of maybe a framework of some questions that they need to have answered. The counseling session, though, is going to focus on the client's current financial situation, any options that they might have other than a reverse mortgage. The counselor's going to get into that, really just see exactly what's going to be best. They're going to talk about what the program qualifications are, how reverse mortgages work, all the different factors that are going to go into determining loan amounts and that kind of thing. And so they're going to do all those calculations and talk about all that information. I want to make certain, though, that folks understand that the numbers and the information that clients are going to get during that session are strictly offered as an illustration. So that counseling is there, but it really is just an illustration. Ultimately, only the lender, only the lender can provide clients with the actual loan amounts and costs and fees and that kind of thing. But our counselors are going to make sure that a consumer has the best understanding of the process.
As with anything involving finances, there are reputable people out there and there are non-reputable people out there. How does CCCS's reverse mortgage counseling program compare with some other programs that are out there on the market?
Well, you hit it. Some are reputable and some are not. Some groups might just offer you the certificate. You might go in and it might be 10 minutes and you sign here and you get the certificate. But they're not providing the kind of information, the kind of in-depth counseling that consumers really need to make the kinds of decisions that are involved in reverse mortgages. So, and we do. I can just say. So we at Consumer Credit, we just really recommend that consumers are really doing some homework and some research when they're deciding who to use. This is a very, very complicated process, and they must get the kind of help that they're going to need to go through it.
So how do you know that a service is reputable?
Well, you got to check and you got to look for some things. You want to find out, is the program HUD approved? Nonprofit agencies with HUD certified counselors are more likely to be reputable. So HUD approval is a big deal. The other thing is, this agency going to provide you with some personalized education? There's been a trend lately that agencies are just kind of churning out certificates and you're not really getting that personalized education, I should say. So you want to make sure that you're going to leave that session with some personalized knowledge about your situation and how things are going to play out specifically for you. Does the session provide you with enough information to truly evaluate what your options are? And did that counselor even talk about options? So that's a really important thing. A well-planned individual counseling session is a big deal, and it's likely to run for at least a couple of hours. We have sessions that go 4, 6, 8 hours.
Wow.
So if somebody's telling you, we can get you done in 20 minutes, that's probably not the best
something
place.
You want to shy away
Exactly,
from. Yeah.
Exactly.
I've come across a few places where I've noticed that this kind of counseling is offered online. Is this the kind of thing that you want to do through a computer?
I think no. Honestly, in the past couple of years, we have seen where it's trending, toward online reverse mortgage counseling. Online sessions, in my estimation, they don't allow clients to interact directly with the counselor, obviously, because you're online. So how is the consumer going to get their questions answered? How are you really going to have that personalized, personable, one-on-one interaction? So while it's out there, I don't necessarily think that it's a good thing. You're not able to have that personalized interaction. So because of that, clients are leaving these sessions online with these online counselors, they're leaving them not being fully informed. There's some information that has to have been missed, that they weren't able to get across completely. So even though it's trending, even though those online sessions are out there and they're available, they're just not a great idea, I don't think.
So what kind of closing advice do you have for older adults who may be considering applying for a reverse mortgage?
Well, I think what we were just saying, that's a big thing. Not just going in for the quick certificate, making sure that you've taken the time, that you understand what reverse mortgages are about. You've learned about the process. You've really reviewed all the information that you've been given. Another thing, before you decide on a reverse mortgage, really make sure that is the right option for you. Don't just look at where you stand now. Think about how it's going to affect you down the road. Really think it through and make sure that's the best option. Because as time passes, as we age, needs are going to change. So that's something I think that consumers really have to keep in mind. And if you do decide that a reverse mortgage does make sense for you, that it is the right thing, make sure you're looking at all the, pros and cons, everything that's going to come along with it, because that really is the best way to make sure that you protect yourself, but also that you get all of your needs addressed.
So if anybody listening right now is interested in taking advantage of the reverse mortgage counseling from CCCS, how can they find out how to get involved in that? Right.
They can call us at 1-877-731-8486 to make an appointment. For a counseling session. They can also visit our website, www.cccs-inc.org, and they can learn all about everything on there, too.
And just in case somebody was trying to grab a pen there, can you give the number one more time?
Sure. It's 1-877-731-8486.
And you mentioned earlier, Deanna, that this service right now is free, but that's not going to last forever.
Right. I'm thinking that probably is just going to be till the end of September or so. So if anybody's interested, definitely call us really soon to take advantage of it while there's no cost.
Well, Deanna Booker, Manager of Community Outreach at Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Maryland and Delaware, thank you so much for coming by once again, giving us a lot of amazingly helpful information.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.